We all knew that it was a deliberate gag order, and we all knew that it was a trap that was set for her. And unfortunately, the Senate president and his lawyers were the one that pushed her into disobeying the court order.
The same Senate that refused to obey the courts when they were going to suspend her is the same Senate she's given the power, or the judgment is giving power to, for them to recall her. How? Tell her to resume office so that she will go there and resume, not put her again at the mercy of the people who have been unjust against her. We take these things lightly in this country. We think it doesn't matter. I think the judiciary should sit down and look at itself and ask itself, why has it become the willing tool, the willing oppressive tool of corrupt politicians who think that they are more than other Nigerians and they can do whatever it is that they need to do? This is not justice.
As Justice Binta Nyako don't nullify the suspension of Senator Natasha Akpabio-Uduaghan, where they represent Kogi Senatorial District, the Senate don't react to that judgment. As the Senate spokesperson, Yemi Adaramodu, he don't talk, say the Red Chamber go look into the matter, or say they go consider and but say as they like this now, they not get too much work what be said they go do, because the court no anytime talk say the Senate no get the right to punish Natasha or to discipline Natasha. So, say Senate now say the court don't tell her what she supposed to do. So say make she go do. So I say when she go to do the right thing by apologizing, not to the Senate but to the court, because now waiting court talk, even though say no talk like this. So say when she apologized, after her apology, say them the Senate they go come sit down, come look the content of her apology, how the apology take go, how you do them for body, then they go consider whether they go recall her or not. For now, say the first thing or first person we supposed to act, na she Natasha Akpabio-Uduaghan, say she supposed go first of all, go tender the apology wey court tell her to apologize, pay the fine wey court tell her to pay. When she pay that one finish, then now they go come look and come consider whether they go fit lift her suspension or not. That kind of matter them. My people, what you wanna think about this one? So me and Francis Chilaka don't sit down talk this matter well. I'm gonna hear as we use balance the matter based on the judgment we be say Senator Binta Nyako give for inside court yesterday. Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja today, Friday, faulted the suspension of Kogi State Governor Natasha Akpabio-Uduaghan and nullified it. Justice Nyako subsequently ordered the Senate to recall the suspended senator on grounds that her suspension of 6 months violated the Constitution and also denied her constituents of adequate representation. The judge made the order while delivering judgment in the suit filed by Akpabio-Uduaghan challenging her 6-month suspension by the Senate. Now, Justice Nyako stated that while the National Assembly has powers to discipline any erring members, such discipline should not be too excessive to the extent of depriving her people of representation. Justice Nyako explains that the 6-month suspension was excessive because it exceeded 180 days the House is expected to sit. Meanwhile, the court found her guilty of contempt of court and subsequently fined ₦5 million, just ₦5 million. She is to also tender a public apology to the court in 2 national dailies as well as on her Facebook page. Now, she's tendering the apology to the court and not Senate President Godswill Akpabio. I'd like us to note this. Now, the reason why the court are guilty of contempt of court is because, remember, the court ordered that she should abstain from any public mention or public interview or speech about the case, depending on when case is settled. But then she posted that satiric apology on her Facebook page to Akpabio. That is actually, it was because of that satiric apology that the court is finding her guilty now of contempt of court. By the way, a lot of civil society organizations and people have also jumped in on it. A particular civil society organization has said, it's good that you found that guilty. Very well, thank you, and I do well as I find that guilty. It held that the said apology, which she published on Facebook on April 7, made a mockery of the gag order that was given by the court. So it was good that they that they punished her for that. Atiku Abubakar has also hailed the court's judgment, saying that it is very good and laudable for our democracy, that it was obnoxious to have suspended her for that long. Let me take a reaction. In fact, before I take a reaction, let me play you footages of what happened in court today. Aisha Yusufu earlier responded or reacted to the court's judgment because she's been following her to court almost every day, which is quite good at that. And then lawyers also spoke, and then I take a reaction.
Sounds like it's react the judgment just delivered.
So what was the judgment just delivered?
Okay, the first one was that she should apologize to the court and two national ladies on content of court on her Facebook post. And the second one was that she should be recalled, that the suspension was excessive, that she should be recalled, even though she was supposed to speak. She was not supposed to speak something that was allocated to her. It looks like it's reacting nice.
Oh, okay. I think I'm going to start this by saying that this injustice shall not be sustained, in the words of Senator Natasha Akpabio-Uduaghan. First of all, this morning coming to the court, the case was different from what we've seen before. People were stopped at the gate. It took a lot for them to even allow some of us to come inside. And of course, I wasn't inside the court. But from what you've heard the judgment. Well, I don't have issues with the court saying that the apologies should be made to them. Well, the court has the right to do that as long as the apology is not to the Senate. Well, that's it. On the other issue, where the judgment is that the Senate should recall her, how does that work? The Senate has done something that is illegal. The Senate has done something that is against the law and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What the judge needed to do is to say that they have done the wrong thing and tell her to resume office so that she will go there and resume, not put her again at the mercy of the people who have been unjust against her. We take these things lightly in this country. We think it doesn't matter. I think the judiciary should sit down and look at itself and ask itself, why has it become the willing tool, the willing oppressive tool of corrupt politicians who think that they are more than other Nigerians and they can do whatever it is that they need to do? This is not justice. The court has the right to say the same Senate that refused to obey the courts when they were going to suspend her is the same Senate she's given the power, or the judgment is given power to, for them to recall her. How? When we have a justice, a court that has the capacity to be able to say that the injustice that has been done, that should not be sustained, that she should go back and resume. There is no way the Senate have the right to take away from the people of Kogi Central Senatorial Zone District the power that they gave someone to go and represent them. Let me end by also saying, and also quoting Senator Natasha Akpabio-Uduaghan, that this injustice will not be sustained. And that in this country, we must get that country back where everybody will have a right. And the courts will be the last resort of the common man and not the plaything of corrupt politicians. Thank you.
I think I just quench him here. Well done, sir.
All right. For me, there are ways to this whole thing. We all knew that the court was going to punish her for not abiding by that gag order. For me, I call it a gag order. And that gag order was done with the intention of ensuring that she doesn't speak more. She doesn't spill more. So we all knew that it was a deliberate gag order. And we all knew that it was a trap that was set for her. And unfortunately, the Senate president and his lawyers were the one that pushed her into disobeying the court order. That we know, all of us.
Is it because Olisa Agbake kept saying that she should just come out with the evidence to apologize and they will withdraw the case and all that? Is that why? Oh, that was what pushed her to making that satirical.
Good. So let us put that aside. Good. For me, it's a fair judgment, and I believe that if she on her own obeys that judgment, then the National Assembly will also have no option and to obey the judgment of the court. Now, when you say the judge should have asked her to resume, no, it is not within the purviews of the court to ask her to go and resume. The court has done the right thing to do by asking the National Assembly, asking the Senate to recall her. The court did not suspend her. And the justice she was seeking was that her suspension was an illegality. even though in their so-called red book allows for suspension, but in that book too, it doesn't say you should suspend somebody for 6 months. So that their rule book is there, which they have been using. So it is based on that she was suspended. But now the court is saying it's based on that your rule book, based on all the parameters with which we suspended her, we call her back. So I would, if I'm in her shoes, what I would do is I would first of all obey my own side of the court order. And then after obeying it, I'll go to the Senate. That's the truth. I'll go to the Senate and ask the Senate to implement the judgment of the court. Because there's a court judgment, and the court judgment has opened that bar. It has opened the doors for her.
All right, so let's quickly take a listen to what you had to say after that.
Yes, my reaction is essentially we await the full text, but the first application by the Senate that no social media post should have been made was in our favor, and there has been directions that that satirical apology should be taken down and an apology be posted in 2 national dailies, and a damages of 5 million naira was also awarded to be paid to the courts. And it was held to be civil contempt as opposed to criminal contempt. So that's why no custodial sentence was given. As for the substantive judgment, we will still need to read the full text of the judgment. But it seems the court affirmed that the Senate, as an institution, has the right to discipline its members. And though members are elected to represent constituencies, they have to behave themselves in line with the Senate standing rules. And the court only gave an opinion, an obiter dictum, what we call an obiter dictum, that the Senate should consider recalling her back. Although the reliefs are not stated, there's no question asking for suspension to be lifted because it occurred prior to the suspension. So it was more or less an obiter that she was of the view, my lord was of the view that the suspension was excessive. So we will consult with our clients, we'll read the judgment and we'll get back to you. Most grateful.
This morning on the case that's for the court on the contempt. The court has pronouncement on the contempt and also on the floor of the Senate. So let's just give us what the court has said and how do you react to the judgment?
Well, firstly, speaking to the issue of contempt, the court held that it amounts to civil contempt and that the plaintiff is ordered to pay a fine of 5 million naira, to issue an apology to the court, and to have the said apology also published on the same medium within which the publication that offended the court was done. So basically, she was found guilty or liable of civil contempt. She has been ordered to pay a fine in the sum of 5 million naira, and she has been ordered to render a public apology. That is the submission for the issue of contempt.
Okay, so can you also speak on the suspension from the Senate?
Well, the court has held in a very erudite decision that the Senate has the right to suspend its members. The Senate also has the right. A member can only speak from the allocated seats, and that the derogative as to which seat belongs to any particular member is at the discretion of the Senate President. And no member can speak from a seat not so allocated to him or her.
Very well then. So how do you react to the judgment?
Yeah, we are awaiting the full text of the judgment. When we get the full text of the judgment, we'll react accordingly.
Thank you so much. So please, can we have your full name and who do you represent?
My name is Eko Ejimbieko, and I represented the third defendant,
Who is?
which is the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, so I think both of them are cancelled to the Senate President and not Natasha's lawyers. I guess her lawyers refused to speak on the judgment. So now you see, stating exactly what Aisha Yusuf said. I'm sorry, sir, but this is more like in line with what Aisha was saying. That why did the court not outrightly say that you need to resume and declare her suspension illegal?
Well,
That's not what the court did. What the court just did is that the court made it look like the Senate has the right to suspend her, but they want to suspend her for too long. Look on a shorten and small. And they're advising, not that they're even compelling them to. They're advising. And it's where Aisha Yusuf has an issue with it.
See, the thing is, I said, it's like saying you have your rules, there's a club you belong to, and there are rules guiding that club. Now, if those rules are applied in excess, then it means that something is wrong. So the court is right in saying that, and the rule has been applied in excess. But it doesn't mean that the rule is not there. The rule is there. And it is the rule that creates order, creates orderliness. So for me, I do not see anything wrong with this judgment. And that's the truth. All I see is that the kind of justice she wants was more like saying the court will ask her to go and resume. Precious, the court did not suspend her. the court would rather ask the same body that suspended her to call her back. That is a victory for her.